there is a thought in the world that loving yourself is narcissistic. But that's not love. Oh, well, Susan Wood says. No, loving yourself is the most important thing you can do. Because when you love yourself, you could not possibly not love another person or not be a power for good in the world. Because love is the very essence of who you are. It's the very essence. It's Ralph Waldo Emerson said, it's the synonym for God, love. God's not a being on a cloud. God's an energy, a presence, a power that resides within each one of us and is expressed through us in our own unique way. That's what I learned from the Science of Mind, and it's the one thing that carries me through my life, is to know that I'm expressing this loving power, and I need to honor it within myself. And our talk title today is, our message title is Heart on Fire. And I think it's really important that whatever you're doing in your life, however you're spending your life, that your heart is on fire about it. I know I've had times in my life where my heart hasn't been on fire, and I didn't even know any better. I just did my life. I did it to whatever, make money, get things, support, whatever it was. But it wasn't really, my heart was not on fire. So what I'm telling myself now is if my heart's not on fire about what I'm doing, then I need to either get out of it or get it on fire. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that with this center. If my heart's not in the things I'm doing here, then I either need to drop them or I need to get excited about them. And that's what happened to me and this choir that we're starting to get together with. We had so much fun on Thursday night because our hearts were on fire, and we were learning a song and we were getting ready to share it with you, and we were dancing and we were singing, and my heart was on fire. And I come home from those rehearsals and I feel really rejuvenated. Really, Patrick goes, "How did it go?" I go, "Oh my God, we had so much fun. It was beautiful." And that's the way I want to live my life. I don't know about you, but I think we're at a time where it's really, really, really important. I'm sure you're familiar, or maybe you're not, with Charles Fillmore. He was the founder, one of the founders of Unity with his wife, Myrtle. They lived to be well into their 90s and started a movement that is still, it's huge. If anybody's been to Unity Village, I've never been there myself, but I hope to go soon before it's too late. And I mean, they started this movement just because they were passionate about what they were doing. And he has this quote. Oh my God, I love this quote. "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm." I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm, and I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that are to be done by me. Oh my God, if we could live that, if we fairly sizzled with zeal and enthusiasm about what we were doing, do you know what would happen? It's scientific. Our hearts would be like, oh my God, they would be so big and filled with love and filled with passion that we could not help attract back to us the same. We couldn't help it. It would have to. I know for myself, these interesting things have been happening lately since I've decided that I'm taking my heart out of it. If my heart's not in it, I'm taking it out, or I'm making my heart in it, right? All of a sudden, I get like a call out of nowhere from my brother, something about my writing, and I'm not going to share it right now, but it seemed to come out of nowhere, but it was an old passion that I had, and he's like, "Do you still have that blah, 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 blah? Because I'm working with this blah, 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 and I'd really like to bring it to them." And I was like, sure, I still had it. So the other thing is, are you ready? Are you ready when somebody comes to you and says, "I really like what you're doing, can you give me a such and such?" Are you ready? And I was ready. I had to dig a little bit, but I was ready. And I think that's important too. So if our heart's in it and we're sizzling with zeal, then the things that are ours to do are going to come to us. They're going to come to us. They can't help it. We'll be expressing them. And I'm not just talking about creativity like artwork and writing. It could be, Michael back there, he's a doctor. It could be an accountant. It could be anyone. It could be anything that your heart sizzles about. And I know in my life, I have spent some of the time like fluctuating between what's practical and what's my heart. And it's been like almost like a battle that I go through. Not so much anymore, but where I would go, oh, I really have to do this because I need to make money and I need to do this and I need to do that. But over here is what my passion is. Now, I'm not promoting that somebody goes out and quits their job because I don't think that's a good idea. If your heart's not in your job, to go out and quit it. No, but what I do think is that you can put your heart into your job too. I remember I worked at a cable company and I wasn't really happy there, it wasn't totally fulfilling me. I was a assistant general manager at a cable company. Can you imagine that? I was though. All right. But I loved going out in the field with the guys and stuff and trying to figure out ways to bring cable to apartment buildings without permission. That was fun. No, anyway, just kidding. No, yeah, there were crazy guys. But anyway, I was getting a little bored with the job and I was like ready for a change. So all of a sudden I thought, what's gonna make me excited today? So I started making affirmations and putting it on everybody's desk. So when they would come in the morning, they'd have like some kind of spiritual message affirmation. And they were like, oh, they got so excited about it. And then I started like doing skits so that they could learn about safety and stuff. So you can make your job exciting. I did. And then you know what happens? You make it so exciting that you're taken out of it because it eventually takes you somewhere else. And that's what happened to me because my love was writing. And there I was, making myself excited and happy about what I was doing. And then the next thing I knew, I had a writing job that Patrick found on Craigslist, where I worked for another, 3 years or something, 2 years. Anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say is get excited about whatever you're doing. Find that thing within yourself that is that thing that gets you excited. And do it. And even if it's not your job, if you're doing that, and a lot of people here are retired, so I don't know about you. I'll probably never retire. I figure, one of my friends over here said he was going to at least work till he was 85. I'll probably be beyond that. But, as long as I have the wherewithal to. But what I believe is if we do, and there are people here that are retired and older, if we do keep that passion going, that it won't matter. Because we'll go out like a blazing flame of zeal and enthusiasm. That's what I want for myself. So I'm feeling like a whole new energy surrounding this idea of getting excited about life. And I think that I know that that's what our planet needs right now. I don't know if I have the quote with me, but it's a Howard Thurman quote where he says, let me see if I can find it, probably not, but he said something to the effect that the world needs people that are alive. Don't go out and look and figure out what the world needs. Figure out what you require, what you need to keep you alive and flaming and zeal and enthusiasm, because that's what the world needs. It needs people that feel alive. And what's alive? To me, no matter what you look at, it's love. It has to be love. And that's not esoteric. It's a passion. It's a fire within your belly. It's a fire within your heart. And we already know scientifically that the heart is powerful, and it communicates to our brain and lets our brain know what chemicals to produce in our bodies. And if there's too much depression and too much stress and all this other stuff, then you can't help it. It's going to create things in your life that you don't want. But we're not going to think about that. We're going to think about what we want. That's the other thing. I have to stop thinking about what I don't want and focus on what do I want. And if I can't answer that question, then I better go find out, because that is going to be the thing that drives me. If I don't know that, then how can I know where I'm going or what I'm doing? And also staying open to the unknown, staying open in trust and faith, and realizing that there's a power within you. The universe is all there for you, and it's driving you. And when you open up to it and trust it, not try to figure out every little step along the way, because that does not work. I know, I've tried it. And you have to, not that you don't plan your life, you can plan, but just open up to maybe there's something more than that, something more that's calling you, whatever that is. So I'm really excited. about all of this. And let's see, I want to just read you some of these quotes before I close, because I feel like they're really good ones, and I picked them out. I hope they're not yours, Patrick. Wait, that was yours. Okay. So I'll just pick up a few of these. So Ernest Holmes, there is a law. That's the law of the universe, law of cause and effect, whatever you want to call it. It's real. It returns to us to exact what we're putting into it. And when we don't know, like if we're just like, that's why we get like we get back and forth stuff and, oh, maybe this, maybe that, blah, blah, blah. He says, there is a law that responds to the fervent emotion of the heart, and it is through the fire of our own enthusiasm that the soul is set free. There is a law that responds to the fervent emotion of the heart, and it is through the fire of our own enthusiasm that the soul is set free. And then Van Gogh, God, what a beautiful soul. He had a lot of problems, but he never stopped painting. He never stopped painting, and he wrote this to his brother. What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? I read that and I know that there are people that feel that way, that they don't have the courage to attempt anything. And I think the more of us that can be an example of what it is to attempt something good, what would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? Let's attempt something today. What's the one thing that sparks your soul? If you don't know what it is right now, I just invite you to spend this week thinking about that and just allowing it to resonate in your heart and in your soul. Just ask. You'll know, and you probably already know what it is. And it doesn't have to be starting a whole movement. It can be some simple thing that makes you light up and sizzle with zeal. So what I'm knowing right now is that whatever that is, that we do know what it is, and that in each moment we live that to the fullest, and we are this example, because we live by example, to the rest of humanity of what's possible when our hearts sizzle with zeal. So that's what I know, and so it is. Thank you.